Hello students, in today's lecture video, we shall discuss about plastering and pointing. Plastering is the process of covering rough surfaces of wall, column, ceiling and other building components with thin coat of plastic mortar to form a smooth durable surface. The objects of plastering. So plastering work is done to protect the external surface against penetration of rainwater and other atmospheric agencies, to give smooth surface in which dust and dirt cannot lodge, to give decorative effect, to protect surfaces against vermin, to conceal inferior materials or defective workmanship. The types of mortar for plastering. First one is lime mortar. It may be either fat lime or hydraulic lime. Fat lime yields good putty after slaking and it is preferred more. Hydraulic lime contains particles which slake very slowly and slow slaking may cause blisters. The proportion of lime to sand should be between 1:3 to 1:4 for fat lime, and it should be 1:2 for hydraulic lime. Addition of Google can improve the binding properties of lime mortar. Mixing of chopped hemp can improve adhesive and tensile properties of lime mortar. Cement mortar. Being non-absorbent, it is best for external plastering work, preferred in damp rooms and damp climates. It is stronger than lime mortar, and it does not possess sufficient plasticity, and its mixed proportion of cement to sand should be between 1:4 to 1:6. Mortar should be used before initial setting takes place. Sand used should be clean, coarse and angular. Lime cement mortar. It contains properties of both lime mortar as well as cement mortar. Addition of lime imparts plasticity, resulting in smooth plastered surface, and its mixed proportion should be of the proportion 1:1:6 or 1:1:8 or 1:2:8. The preparation of background. So the joints should be raked to a depth of 10 mm in brick masonry and 15 mm in stone masonry for providing key to plaster. Mortar droppings and dust should be removed with a wire brush. Unevenness is leveled before applying mortar. Surface should be washed with clean water uniformly to produce optimum suction. Excess soaking with water may cause sliding of mortar before it sets. Less moisture may cause strong suction, which withdraws moisture from mortar and makes it weak. Now we shall discuss about the methods of plastering. So lime plaster is applied in 3 coats or in 2 coats. So first we shall discuss about the 3-coat plaster. The application of the first coat. Mortar is forcibly applied with mason's trowel and pressed well into joints and over the surface, and the normal thickness is 12 mm. The surface is allowed to slightly harden and then scratched crisscross, and then it is left to set for 7 days. Then next is the application of second coat. Here the rendering coat is cleaned off all dirt and loose material, and it is lightly weighted. Patches applied are suitable spacing to act as gauges. Mortar is then thrown with mason's trowel and sprayed and rubbed with wooden float. In case of lime surkey plaster, surface is allowed to slightly harden and then scratched crisscross, and it is left to set for 10 days. The application of finishing coat. In case of lime sand mortar, finishing coat is applied immediately after floating coat. It consists of lime cream and sand. applied with steel trowel and rubbed and finished smooth. It is left for 1 day and then curing is done for at least 7 days. In case of lime soaking mortar, finishing coat is applied after 7 days of floating coat after cleaning the surface. The finishing coat is rubbed hard and finished smooth. Two-coat plaster. The rendering coat of two-coat plaster is a combination of rendering and floating coats of three-coat plaster done under one continuous operation, and finishing coat is applied in a similar manner to that of three-coat plaster. Cement plaster and cement lime plaster. So first we shall discuss about the two-coat plaster. In order to maintain uniform thickness of plaster, screeds are formed of plaster on the wall surface by fixing dots of 15 cm by 15 cm. Two dots are formed in vertical line at a distance of about 2 meter by means of plumb bob. A vertical strip of mortar known as screed is then formed. A number of such vertical screeds are formed at suitable spacing. Cement mortar is then applied on the surface between the successive screeds and surface is properly finished. The rendering coat is kept wet for at least 2 days and then allowed to dry completely. Rendering coat is again damped evenly before applying final coat. Final coat is applied with wooden floors and finished with steel trowels. To eliminate joining marks, finishing coat should be applied starting from top towards bottom and completed in one operation. Then next one is the three-coat plaster. So intermediate coat known as floating coat is applied here, and the rendering coat is having the thickness of 9 to 10 millimeter. Floating coat is having a thickness of 6 to 9 millimeter, and the finishing coat is applied with a thickness of 2 to 3 millimeter. Single coat plaster, it is used only for inferior quality of work and applied as a two-coat plaster. Rendering coat is finished off immediately after it has sufficiently hardened. Now we shall discuss about some of the special materials used in plastering. First one is acoustic plaster. It contains gypsum mixtures and it is applied as final coat. It undergoes chemical reaction resulting in production of gas bubbles and tiny opening in the coat. Honeycombed openings absorb sound and it is useful in interior walls of halls, auditorium, etc. It is applied in two coats, each of 6 millimeter. Asbestos plaster, it is made of cement, asbestos and finely crushed marble. It imparts marble-like finish. Barium plaster, it is made from cement, sand and barium sulfate and it is provided in X-ray rooms to protect persons working in it. Granite silicone plaster, it is used for superior type of construction and it has got a quality of quick setting. It possesses high elastic properties which eliminate cracks. Next one, gypsum plaster is used in combination with lime. It is used for ornamental work and repairing holes and cracks. It has got fire resistance property. It is light in weight. It has got the property of sound insulation. It has got good adhesion to fibrous materials. Next, we shall discuss about pointing. Finishing of mortar joints in masonry is known as pointing. Pointing consists of breaking the joints to a depth of 10 to 20 millimeter and filling it with better quality mortar in desired shape. What raking means? So raking out joint is the process in which you cut out a recess in the brickwork mortar joint. When you have bricked all the joints, you can plaster the wall and the plaster grips in bricked out joint. Pointing is done with the following mortar mixes. First one is lime mortar, second one is cement mortar. Preparation of the surface. For new work, the joints are raked down to a depth of 20 mm while mortar is still soft. Surface and joints cleaned and thoroughly weighted. For old work, loose pointing and superfluous mortar on surface and joints are removed. The surface and joints are cleaned and thoroughly weighted. The method of pointing. First, the surface is repaired, it is cleaned and then weighted. With the help of small trowel, mortar placed in joints in desired shape. Then mortar pressed to bring perfect contact between old interior mortar of joint and new mortar. Care should be taken that mortar does not cover face edges in case of first class brickwork. Surface is kept wet for at least a week or till it sets after application. The types of pointing. First one is flash pointing, formed by pressing mortar in rake joint and by finishing off flush with edge of masonry units. Edges are neatly trimmed with trowel and straight edge, and it does not give good appearance. It is durable as it does not provide any space for accumulation of dust and dirt, etc. And it is very extensively used. Next one is recessed pointing. The pointing is done by pressing the mortar back from edge by 5 mm or more. The face of pointing is kept vertical and it gives very good appearance. The rubbed, keyed or grooved pointing. It is a modified form of flush pointing and the groove is at its mid height. It is formed with a pointing tool and it gives better appearance. Beaded pointing, it is formed by steel or iron with a concave edge. It gives good appearance. It is liable to damage easily. Struck pointing, it is a modified form of flush pointing. Face of pointing is inclined and upper edge is pressed inside the face by 10 mm and it drains water quickly. Tuck pointing, it is formed by pressing the mortar in rake joint, finishing flush with face. V pointing, forming V groove in flush finishing face, is known as the V pointing. Withered pointing, it forms a V-shaped projection. So with this we have covered the chapter on plastering and pointing. We have also discussed different types of plastering and different types of pointing work. So thank you students.